we have our customer service email address that you also find on every product.
Welcome back to the live coverage of YCS Bochum 2015. I'm your host for the weekend, Oliver German, and I'm joined here by Rob Hooley.
Glad to be here.
And you are our resident expert for all things ritual beasts.
Yes, I love ritual beasts. They are incredibly complicated, incredibly confusing, and that's usually why we don't see them so far into the day, because it's I wouldn't say a chore to play them, but by the time that you finish the game, you feel mentally drained.
Yes, it is something to keep in mind if you're going to a tournament like the YCS, where we're playing 11 rounds of Swiss, 8 of those we're playing today, 3 more tomorrow. You need to have a deck that you're feeling really comfortable with.
Yes.
Because if your mind is getting the better of you, you're tired,
I mean,
it doesn't matter how good your deck is.
Even now I'm about to watch ritual beasts, and I've got them in front of me so that I can turn them upside down when they've been special summoned, so I remember which ones have been summoned that turn.
Yeah,
definitely.
It's always fun to see Rob play with his cards while we're doing the announcing. This is why I always try to have Ritual Beasts in the feature match area, apart from the fact that they are a powerful deck. Well, Thao Nguyen Hong is playing the Ritual Beasts. Another German player, couldn't quite tell by the name, but he's doing well. He's got 4 wins, 1 draw. That means 13 points, and in those draw brackets are also some of the best players.
Yes.
And I've seen Beshnik Kaitasi last round. He's in the draw bracket together with Norman Wilde, for example, 2 guys that made it to the top cut. Well, his opponent is going to be Pierrot Meyers from Luxembourg. It's, I think, only the 2nd time we've featured a player from Luxembourg, and I'm talking about in the coverage, not on the stream.
Right.
So he is playing Tellarknights. So you can tell there are other decks than Necros. But speaking of decks, we got the complete deck breakdown for you guys. So let's take a look at that. If there are any other surprises. Well, the blue elephant in the room, of course.
Yep. Necros.
Necros in first position. So we're going to have that graph up for you. What do you think? What is going to be second? Is it Tellarknights?
Oh, actually, it's other. Look at that. Everybody's looking at Necros and actually thinking, you know what, I'm going to try something different. So we've got a lot of people just playing rogue decks.
That is
most of the field.
That is a big surprise. Yeah, I mean, it's not a surprise that we have many players playing other decks, but more than the most popular deck. I've seen that's one of the first times we've ever seen that. And then it's not as one-sided of an affair as some people were making it out to be. Necros with 260 and then 150 Shadows and 140 Tellarknights.
So it's about the same. They're very much on par. Burning Abyss is coming up in the rear there. Well, Burning Abyss is still a good deck, but they kind of have to switch a few things out. Crane is being played now as because they don't have the tour guides as much anymore. And
Spirit Beasts in 8th place, so not that far off. I mean, they're still one of the more popular decks.
It's exactly the same as Yosenju as well, which are both of the archetypes that came out in the Secret Forces with Necros. So
yeah, so this new set again having quite an impact on the competitive scene.
Glad to see Hero still being in the meta though. Mass Change, an incredibly powerful card. Dark Law winning Prague.
Right.
Completely.
So all of this information you can of course find in the written coverage. So in case that happened a little bit too quick for you guys, head on over to the written coverage where Rudy and PJ are providing you with all the updates that we have in terms of strategy and statistics. And now let's take you to the table where Pierrot Meyers is going up against Hong Nguyen Thao. And you see Hong on the left-hand side and Pierrot on the right-hand side.
So let's have a look at that hand there. So Hong has got Elder, Lara, Rampengu, Steeds, and D-Fissure. D-Fissure is hitting the field, ready to start banishing monsters, which is kind of annoying for most decks, but especially so for the Tellarknights, as it's shutting down the Altair.
Oh, yes. So not just good, well-positioned to do well against Necros, also against Tellarknights.
Yes. Now, he's sat there with a Rampengu. It's not the best play. The best play is to have Canahawk, but he can work around with this. Okay, so he's banished the Canahawk, ready to be able to bring it back.
All right, and let's look at Pierrot's opening 5. Unukalhai and Altair. Torrential Tribute still being played. Call and a Stellanova Alpha.
Now, Torrential Tribute actually hurting a little bit more for Pierrot there because of the Dimensional Fissure. Ritual Beast monsters generally don't mind if they've been banished. So in comes the Ulti Canahawk. Ulti Canahawk can chain its own effect to its effect. One of its effects sending 2 Ritual Beast monsters to the graveyard to search your deck for a Ritual Beast card, and the other one lets you bounce it back to the extra deck to special summon 2 monsters. So he's able to special summon both of those monsters, return just 1 monster, because he can select one of the monsters that he selected to return to the graveyard to special summon. And I hope that you're following what I'm saying, because I'm not.
Yeah, so let's put it a different way. What kind of advantage are you gaining by doing that?
Well, currently, all he has to do is return 1 card to the graveyard, where he can't really get a hold of it. He's put an Ulti Canahawk back in the graveyard as well, which isn't really helping him when it's banished. And he gets to keep more Tamers and Beasts banished as well. So he actually has a lot more plays this turn, simply because he's done it that way. He has the monsters on the field to be able to special summon another fusion monster. And Elder and Canahawk have been special summoned this turn.
And what is the ultimate goal?
Basically, to set yourself up with ambush and steeds. Canahawk will keep searching steeds for you, which is going to basically clear your entire opponent's board. Because what you can do is you can play steeds and chain your fusion monsters tagging out, which basically means that you can fill your field with monsters and destroy up to 5 monsters on your opponent's side of the field with steeds. Ambush is a really nice card to be able to special summon more monsters, do that in your opponent's end phase, and you don't have to worry about the restriction of being able to special summon once per turn, and you can get a lot more fusion monsters out. You really want to make a Apoleo. Apoleo makes all of your Ritual Beast monsters gain 500 attack after they are summoned, even after you've used the effect. So, and it doesn't affect Ulti Apoleo's effect, which is that it is unaffected when it attacks.
That's a lot of information to process. And but it seems that Pierrot is apparently aware of what's going on, because he's not snatching every card that's hitting play and saying, what does it do, what does it do? So he's most likely familiar with the Ritual Beast. This is here the first time that he's reading a card again, but it seems like it's the exception rather than the rule, so he seems to be familiar with Ritual Beasts.
Yeah, not a lot of people actually... they do play the Pink Dolphin, but they don't really play it for its effect.
It's a good card.
It is good. It bounces cards.
They made a little snippet about it, only because it's such a good card. All right, and again, Pierrot's hand. He's still sitting here waiting, lying in wait with this opening hand. It's not quite bad, but it's missing the Deneb, I would say.
No, it's a pretty good hand, although it can't really use the Altair. Unless... Am I thinking Dimensional Fissure's wrong, or is it every monster that's sent to the graveyard?
It's monster cards are banished instead.
Yeah, is it every monster that's sent to the graveyard in any way?
Yes.
Okay.
But if you detach them for Exceed Summon, they will not end up in the graveyard.
Okay, that's
because
cool.
The materials for an Exceed monster are not considered monsters.
It was more I was just looking at Unukalhai and whether it was actually active or not, but it's definitely not.
All right, so Hong is actually done with his turn with this field. The face-up Fissure, he's got the Ambush, he's got the Steeds, and the Ulti Canahawk face up on the field.
Now,
and these Ritual Beasts, they don't seem to sport high attack values, are they?
Well, not necessarily. The highest attack that they've got in the deck is the Ulti Apoleo, which is 2,600 attack, but with Apoleo gaining at 500 attack. And because it doesn't say necessarily you can only use its effect once per turn, as such, you can't use that one monster's effect once per turn. It's that card's effect. If you then to special summon it, you can use it a second time. So you can make all of your monsters gain 1,000 attack that turn.
All right.
So it goes for a big swing, all in one go. So Altair coming down.
Attacking over the ulti Canhawk.
Now he went to attack, I believe, and here comes out more monsters. He's tagging out, and in comes a Nguyen and a pink dolphin.
The pedal fin.
Yes.
And interestingly enough, now Pierrot is reading the cards, just to make sure.
And out comes the steeds. And there it is. That also has now shut down the Tellarknights Alpha. And it's banished. So, really, really good position for the Ritual Beast player here. Hong is doing well.
Yeah, and how often does this happen like it does here? Because is that exception or is that what it usually does?
This is just what it does. I mean, I play an interesting build of it just for fun, which includes things like Question, because there's so many cards moving around that you can never remember what is actually at the bottom of your graveyard. And other things like Magical Mallet, just to kind of stop, because sometimes you get a bit of issues with consistency, which I found the Magical Mallet actually fixed. Now, Canahawk's activating its effect there. It could not be wishing for a better field. He is unafraid. Hong is unafraid of all of that massive back row there, because the Tellarknights Alpha is doing nothing. And if he was going to stop him special summoning, he would have done it by now.
What about the Torrential Tribute waiting in Pierrot's back row?
That is kind of annoying.
And it's also not a card that you expect
But
these
only
days.
kind of annoying. I probably would have bounced at that point if I could, which he can. Interesting.
Oh, that he didn't activate the Torrential right away?
No, it's interesting that Petal Fin wasn't activated to bounce a card, just to see if he could hit anything.
So Hong still's got a couple of cards in his hand with the Ritual Beast Tamer Lara and Nguyen, the Steeds and a Mirror Force. Both of these cards are, both of these guys are playing some cards that we don't see that often these days. With the Mirror Force, with the Torrential. Interesting choices, but so far serving them well.
Okay. Tagging out. Now is probably the best time to play the Torrential. There it is.
There it is, yeah.
Now, because it would be on the same chain, if he was to tag out, all of his monsters would still be destroyed anyway. But it would probably be a good idea, simply because he really doesn't want both of his ulti Apeleos to be banished as well.
Right, so what can he do here?
He can put both of his Apeleos back into the deck.
With
into
their
the
own
extra deck.
effects?
It's with their own effect, yeah. Which would have special summoned monsters, which would have just been rebanished anyway. But he's chosen not to at this juncture. It would have meant that he'd have been able to keep the ulti Apeleos in his extra deck rather than banished.
Okay. So you approve the move, or you would have done it differently?
Well, as far as I'm aware, a lot of those special summons happened in the end phase, so he had cards that he could have brought out. But here we go. He's setting himself back up to be able to do it all again. Basically, when it's normal summoned, can special summon a Ritual Beast. I nearly said Gladiator Beast then. It's all this tagging, that's what it is. He can special summon a...
I don't blame you.
Spiritual Beast from the banished zone. And then Canahawk can activate its effect again, which is banishing Rampengu in this case. Now, we're probably going to see another ulti Canahawk play to go and get some more steeds at this point. Oh no, he's going straight for the ulti Apelio.
Is he only playing 2 copies of the ulti Canahawk, maybe?
Generally,
no,
you play
he's playing 3, yeah.
Yeah, that's the 2 that you play 3 of is ulti Apelio and ulti Canahawk. Ulti Petal Fin can't be destroyed by card effect, so it's a really nice wall to just set up after you've done all of your combos.
And he's playing 1 copy of that, not surprisingly.
Yeah.
Is there anything else about the deck that you're like, what do you think of Reckless Green in the main deck, for example?
You want to be drawing cards anyway. You're searching everything that you need with this massive combo with ulti Canahawk. So not being able to draw for 2 turns is not great, but you're more likely to just draw straight into what you need. As I said, it has a couple of consistency issues, so drawing cards will never hurt with this, which is why it's also running 3 Upstart Goblin.
Yeah, and he was at some point running a gold... Oh, no, he's still running the gold sarcophagus. Quite interesting.
Yeah, Gold Sarcophagus is the card to run in the deck anyway, because you're bringing it back regardless. You're bringing the monster back regardless, because you can special summon it from the Banished Zone,
Yeah.
or it's coming to your hand and you can use it.
All right, and Pierrot is left here with the Unukalhai in his hand.
And 2 alphas.
This is his back row, and the alpha are not doing much with the Dimensional Fissure.
Well, he can still tribute it, can he not?
You have to send the Tellarknight monster to the graveyard.
Oh.
So Alpha is actually a dead card as long as the Fissure is on the field. It's not tribute 1.
It does say no.
Send 1 face up.
Yes, that is correct. It's sent straight to the
So
graveyard. Same reason why you can't activate Honest.
yeah, so very, very bad news for him. A couple of cards in his deck are gonna be, well, not be able to resolve their effects, thanks to that crucial Dimensional Fissure. Here we go. Very short effect text, but very, very big effect.
Yeah, it's huge. It's like Macrocosmos, but better.
In certain ways.
I would say it's much better, because it's getting rid of all monsters, which is what you don't really want anyway. If you're playing against Necros, they need to be able to banish a Necros monster to be able to get stuff back. Unicorn no longer is getting you anything. You have to do you have to discard Necros to the graveyard, or is it just discard?
Sorry, come again?
Necros, is it discard to the graveyard, or is it just discard for their cost?
I think Necros should also go to the graveyard, but I'm not 100% sure. Let's just search for the Brian Egg, I guess.
Yeah, that's the one that we really want to find out.
Yeah.
No, it's just discard the card.
Discard the card,
that's
yeah.
fine.
So you can still go searching.
But he's not going to be able to get it back. Is one of the big
Yes.
things. Okay, so he's just searched for Elder. Setting up his plays again. I believe he attacked directly as well. So he has already attacked this turn.
So not much else coming for Pierrot here, but I don't think it looks like Hong needs that much more. He's in a pretty good position.
Yeah, he's in a really good position. Let's just see what gets drawn in by Pierro there.
Mm-hmm.
Still got Unukalhai and a Vega. Vega will special summon the Unukalhai, which is pretty good.
Then
Unless he activates Steeds in response, which would mean that he would have. Then he can't use Alpha. So yeah, he's still not in a great position, because Steeds is definitely a thing.
Let's bring up Steeds.
Absolutely ridiculous card.
Yeah.
Full on.
With just one Ritual Beast monster, it's already good, but with more, it gets...
With one Ritual Beast monster, you get to destroy 2 monsters, because you can send it back to the extra deck to special summon 2 monsters. And if you do it in response, it doesn't check for how many there are on activation, it checks on resolution.
Right. So you can... There we go. Is that the play here?
Kind of. And there comes down the second one. And is he going to activate Unukalhai's effect, he's asking?
Yeah, Hong is asking what's the order of effects here. And in response, once Pierrot decided what he's going to do, we're most likely going to see those Steeds being flipped.
Especially seeing as he has 2 Steeds, I believe, as well, doesn't he not? Or am I thinking he's got something else? Oh, he's got an ambush and the Steeds, hasn't he?
Yep.
There's the Steeds.
And what are you targeting? The 2 monsters?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, he doesn't target either.
Right.
Yep, it's brilliant.
So this card is a little bit like a Madolce Princess Tiramisu.
It is ridiculous.
Just almost easier to use.
Mostly, yeah. It's easier, definitely easy to get out. We appear to be just having a little bit of lag, I think.
Yeah. Sometimes the cards don't show up immediately, but here we go.
Yep, because it's just equal up to the number of. It doesn't necessarily have to specifically target.
Right. And here he goes with the ambush.
Yep. This is basically where he can go straight up for a win.
Wow.
Because he has an Apoleo there as well. Banishes for Apoleo, makes an ulti Apoleo, just attacks
And
with everything he's got.
the entire back row of Pierrot is completely dead. Call of the Haunted doesn't have any targets in the graveyard, thanks to the Dimensional Fissure that banished all the monsters that left the field. Stellar Nova Alpha only works if you have a Tellarknight face up on the field, and then you also have to send it to the graveyard. So in two different ways, this card doesn't work at the moment, thanks to Dimensional Fissure. And yeah, the door is wide open. Hong is going to come in swinging. And then it's going to be 1-0 for Ritual Beasts.
Yes.
Is that the first victory in a game that we've seen in the feature match for Ritual Beasts?
It is, yes. Now he's going for the ulti cannon hook. He's playing it safe and getting some more searches off. Although he may want to get Ritual Beast Bond, which is basically an El Shaddai fusion for Ritual Beasts.
And what are your targets?
For
the El Shaddai fusion for Ritual Beasts?
you don't actually have to pick a Tamer and a Beast. You can pick anything, including the fusion monsters. So you can attack with the fusion, attack with something else, turn it into another ulti Apoleo.
Okay.
In this case, he won't be able to turn it into another ulti Apoleo because he only has one in his extra deck, but that's generally the play.
If you're sitting in Pierrot's position, would this be the right moment to scoop up your cards, use the little bit of extra time that you're gaining that way to think about game 2?
I honestly can't see many ways that he's going to get out of this.
So what is he going to use from his side deck in case this...
Imperial Iron Wall. That completely shuts down Hong's deck.
Wow, so there's a one-card answer for the Ritual Beast.
Yep, because he can't banish cards then.
In any way.
Mm-hmm. But the way to counter that is win before he gets it out. that's how you counter most cards.
That's a pretty good counter.
Yeah, the best counter in the game is winning the game. Just make sure you do that.
Before your opponent can...
Yeah, before your opponent can beat you.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that's the best tech.
You're one-upping your opponent by beating them before they can do anything.
Yes.
Right. So, yeah, again, the question, should you use the extra time? Do you want to go to time against Ritual Beasts if you're a Tellarknight player?
They have to make a lot of setup, but they can also make big fields that will just damage you. So it'd be an interesting one. A Trigger Loop would be annoying. And Ulti Cannon Hook's coming out as well. And that is 3,100 plus, I believe it's 1,400 attack, so 1,900.
Yep. So Pierrot is going to fall to less than 1,000 life points, is that correct?
He should be on...
Oh, no, a little bit more.
That's 5,000, is it not?
Yes.
Yeah, it's 5,000 exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Because he's gained... I believe
Yeah,
he used Apollo's effect earlier, I'm pretty sure he did.
Yeah.
Oh, and down comes Nguyen. He hasn't actually Lara, sorry. And Lara special summons from the graveyard.
Okay, so he's got enough of a field.
He's got game.
Yeah, he's got game.
Yeah.
And still the question is, yeah, now we're finally there. And
although I did mean that in the sense of he's got game.
Yeah.
As in, like, he's won and he's also got game because he's a good player. I mean, he did very, very well in that game. But I believe that Dimensional Fissure was the card that just straight up won that game for him. There was no question. If he didn't have that, there was probably lots of things that Pierro could do.
What about the speed of Hong? Was there anything where you had to really think about it, or are these like the standard moves of the Ritual Beasts and you just go through
There
them?
are set moves, but it's also you do a lot of stuff off your own back according to the situation. Exactly what you want to do, if you want to play it safe, whether you want to go all out. It's weird. It's a bit like, I would say, spellbooks are the closest thing that I could think to because of how much searching and setting up you need to do.
Okay.
There's far too much to remember.
All right, so the Imperial Iron Wall is going to come in for Pierrot.
Oh, yes, most definitely. That Solemn Warning.
Maxi sounds really good, as long as Dimensional Fissure isn't face up on the field.
Yep. And we see another Chaos Trap Hole in the side deck. It doesn't help at all in this, because they're all wind monsters. So that is there for him. Soul Drain. It's going to be stopping things at the graveyard, so that doesn't really help him.
Right. And Pierrot is playing a Ceasefire.
Yes.
So he might not mind going to time as much.
Yes, especially seeing as Ritual Beast like to summon 4 monsters at a time and then attempt to destroy the field. Resolving backwards, you're dealing 2,000 damage, plus whatever's already on the field that they're trying to get rid of.
Yeah.
So Pierro may be very, very well prepared for this matchup.
All right. And what about Thao? What is he going to come?
Again, you'll have to help me with a lot of this.
We got a Kaiku, Raigeki, 3 copies of Mystical Space Typhoon,
and
Shared Right.
I think I've worked this out. Is that Shadow Imprisoning Mirror?
Shadow Imprisoning.
And that's Light Imprisoning Mirror.
Yes.
Okay, I know what that means in German now. So
yeah.
There.
Spiegel's Mirror.
Ah.
And then we got a Royal Command and a Soul Taker. That's also an interesting choice.
Soul Taker, yeah.
All right, so both guys are getting ready for game 2. And Pierrot doesn't seem to be too nonplussed. He seems still quite focused and in control. Whereas Hong is in a very cheery mood.
Yes, Hong is very happy. He showed a bit of happiness for a second, and then he was like, poker face. It's game time. It's
Game
on.
time.
It's time to duel. Now we get serious.
And Ryan doing a little and interesting ritual there. Might also be a ritual beast. All right, and ready, set, go for game 2. Who's going to go first? Would you let your opponent go first?
No. Not in this case. If Hong was to go first, he could set up lots of Steed Blaze and possibly a Dimensional Fissure. You really don't want that.
All right, so if you're Pierrot, you definitely want to go first, even if it means 1 card less.
Yes. And he's letting his opponent go first, I believe, because... Oh, wait, no.
No, I think he's setting cards.
Oh, is he?
It's just that Ryan might not have gotten all of them.
Okay.
There we go. This is, well, it used to be the hand of Pierrot. Unukalhai is going to stay where it is in his hand, but the tribute, the torrential tribute, the Phoenix Chain, Wiretap, and Mind Crush all being set.
That's pretty good.
And the Wiretap, we haven't seen it activated today.
Okay, here comes down a Rampengu. He's an incredibly good-looking green penguin.
How is he good looking?
He's really confident in his looks. If you look, he's kind of like, yeah, look at me. I'm a penguin. He reminds me of the penguin from Happy Feet.
Okay. You're really into penguins today, Rob.
Penguins are great.
This is actually Nino. When I interviewed him after that last round, he said that Penguin Soldier is the best card.
It's because he's right.
Okay, and here he goes again with those.
Ulti Canohawk is banished. Canohawk has gone to the graveyard. He has a Macro Cosmos, so he's well and truly ready for anything, basically. Unfortunately, there is a Wiretap set face down there, which is not going to get used on the Mirror Force, which puts him in a good position. Depending on whether he decides to Mystical Space Typhoon 2 random cards, which in the age of non-artifacts is still okay.
Right. And 4 face downs for Hong. Those are the Mirror Force, the Macrocosmos, and the 2 Mystical Space Typhoons. So he's left with 1 Rampengu in his hand.
Now that is a Vega.
As Deneb.
And a Deneb. Oh, as an Unukalhai and a Deneb. Sorry. I sometimes get Unukalhai and Vega mixed up with their artwork.
I think they look pretty similar.
They do.
Deneb is going to hit play, I presume.
Looks that way.
And this is
Thinking about it. He's like, I don't really want to waste the Deneb if it's going to be gotten rid of. So Unakal Hyde looks like it's going to hit the field. Oh no, that is...
Deneb.
No, I'm sure that's Vega, is it not?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's Vega.
It's Vega. I knew I wasn't seeing things.
So, any response? Nope. And there is the Deneb now. Or at least the Deneb is supposed to hit play. And Hong has got no response, really. Would you go for the Microcosmos?
At this point, probably not. There's no point. No cards are going to the graveyard. Now he's looking at his extra deck there. As usual, lots and lots of rank 4s. Silent Honor Arc. Rhapsody and Berserk, which isn't really going to help you. At this point, you don't want to banish your opponent's Ritual Beasts.
Right. Castell, of course. The number 101 Silent Honor Arc.
Exeter Knight.
And Abyss Dweller. Is there anything in the extra deck that is wrecking Ritual Beasts, really?
Not necessarily. I can't see anything in this particular one that's going to completely wreck them.
Because very often you have like the perfect answer in your extra deck, but it doesn't seem like there is one against the Ritual Beasts.
I mean, at this point, bouncing that card hurts, but against one of the fusion monsters, it's not going to do anything. Simply because you can tag out.
There is a ceasefire for 1,000 damage.
That was a wire tap.
Oh.
Wire tap is stopping that Macrocosmos. It shuffles it back into the deck.
Oh, yes.
So he's basically getting a double Castell out of this Castell.
That's also quite strong. So what are you thinking when you Hong here and you're running into the wire tap? You're just going to continue
thank
with
God I've got rid of the wire tap.
Okay. So you're just going to continue with your game plan, not really be affected by it. Try to shake it off.
Yeah. Because now he's got a Macrocosmos back in his deck and his opponent has a wire tap in the graveyard.
And Castell is taking a shot. Hong is down to 6,000 life points.
Hong is not in a good position at this time round. And Rampengu hits the field.
And he just drew into his second Mirror Force.
Not very helpful.
No. I mean, you already have one. No, most of the time you don't want to have a second one.
Fiendish Chain is coming down. Is the Mystical Space Typhoon going to get chained?
Doesn't necessarily look that way. And Hongo really being in the tank, thinking long and hard about his next move. There is the Mystical Space Typhoon that you already predicted a second ago.
Okay, there's an ulti Apoleo. And Apollo going to the grave.
So is that just double the trouble?
He's setting up more than likely for some ambush plays. Very much later on. But he's feeling pretty protected at the moment. There's 2 Mirror Forces there. And there's a Tellarknight Altair, Pierrot's Hand, and a Mystical Space Typhoon. And a Mind Crush as well. So
he's going to attack with the Castell?
He could attempt to, or he could play, as he is doing, Altair, to special summon Deneb from the graveyard, get some more cards.
And that is it looking good for Pierrot? Not really. Oh,
Hong isn't having a good time at the moment.
Okay, so it's too early to tell.
Yeah.
Because we've had a lot of 2-0s today.
Yes, we actually have. I don't think we've actually had a third game yet.
No, I don't think so either. It is quite something. And what is Pierrot looking at here? What is his game plan?
He's looking...
Summon.
Anything at the moment, yeah, is going to really help him. I think he's missing a Vega.
To do what?
To do the full combo of being able to special summon everything in one turn.
Ah.
He's got an Unukal High to be able to get it into the graveyard after this turn. And he attempts to poke. Oh no, he's reading a Mirror Force.
That's an excellent read, because there are 2 of those.
He's thinking, nah, there's no way he's just putting that there. And at this point, you would have played a Steeds before any of this happened.
Yeah. So the Mirror Force, yep, there you have it, just as you predicted. Not as much value as it used to be here.
Not necessarily, but it's stopping an extra Xyz play.
Yeah, and apparently Hong being aware of the perfect moment to flip that card. Because you don't want to save it any longer, do you?
There is also a Torrential Tribute down on the field, on Pierro's side of the field, so I guess getting rid of his side of the field isn't going to help him.
Right. And Hong just drew into a Dimensional Fissure. So
nice to finally get it.
Very bad news for Pierrot, who was in a bad position already.
Now, unfortunately, there is already some guys out there in the graveyard ready to be summoned by an Altair. So it isn't really helping him as much at the moment, because there's already enough stuff in that graveyard to be able to pull off some combos. Well, it's really set down as the Talonova Alpha, which, as we know, Pierro doesn't have. But of course, Hong doesn't know that.
And Pierrot with the Unukal High in his hand, that's also not going to help him, is it?
No, because it's just going to banish things. Unukal High was great when there wasn't a Dimensional Fissure on the field.
And Hong testing the waters. Finding an MST in the back row for Pierrot. Destroying the Dimensional Fissure.
Now, Pierro's in a better position.
But still not great. What does he need? How does he turn this around?
Well, he got one of the cards, which is Imperial Iron Wall. So he's going to be able to stop basically everything that Hong can do. Hong does still have a Mystical Space Typhoon, though. So they both have answers. It's really, really hard to tell at the moment because they both have all the answers to everything that's coming up.
War of attrition,
So
really.
it just feels like nothing is currently happening.
Yeah,
That's what it feels like. The life points are almost the same. They're just playing cards. It's like playing one card a turn.
And Pierrot is now going for the play with the Unukalhai. And he's still got the Imperial Iron Wall on his hand. But first, it's special summoning time.
Okay, so Unukalhai is going to go and get a Deneb to the grave. Mindcrush and Torrential Tribute still on the field. And soon to be Imperial Iron Wall. Oh no, he's holding. Oh no, he did set it then.
He did set it, yeah.
Yeah. And here comes the Mystical Space Typhoon.
Very likely.
Not quite yet. I think he's going to wait. He's got time.
Does he? That's also one of the things that Nino said about his deck. He can just stall, and that at some point he's just going to go big.
That's a Vanity's Emptiness that's set face down as well. On Hong's side of the field. Yeah. So Altair can come out now. Oh, is he going to attack first? Here's the question. Unukalhai is running over the Rampengu. Okay, he's leaving that there. And Cardi Drew goes immediately face down, which is a solemn warning. So Hong has a lot of plays to be able to stall at the moment.
Yeah.
But again,
he's got nothing to apply pressure by himself.
Yeah.
And he's going to lose more life points with those costly activations.
I think he's just giving up.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is far too much. He's got a Mystical Space Typhoon to stop the Imperial Iron Wall, Vanity Tempest to stop him slash summoning, and a solemn warning. To be honest with you, he was in an okay position, but the problem would now be Unukalhai. Actually, no, he was actually in a really quite a good position there, if you think about it. Because he would have been able to, if he waited for the Exi summon, he could have negated the Exi summon, his opponent wouldn't have had anything, and then he could have Vanity's Emptiness. So he did have an okay thing going there. And immediately after he wants to get rid of his Vanity's Emptiness, he could get rid of the Imperial Iron Wall at the same time with the Mystical Space Typhoon, destroying his own Vanity's Emptiness, and then he could have started making his plays. But if he didn't feel like he could wait the long game out and get to there, that's fair enough.
Well, yeah, and that's something we talked about earlier. Sometimes it's a very good idea to cut it off a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
And, well...
Especially because they're going into Game 3. And
yes.
I don't know if anyone can hear on our microphones. Time has just been called on the tournament outside of the feature match area on the main event.
Yep.
We start a little bit later than everybody else, so she's setting up and everything. So we've got a little bit more time on the match here.
Yeah, but it means, like you pointed out, any time now, time could be called in this match.
Yeah.
But the good thing is, for both of these guys, they were still allowed to side deck going into that last game.
I think that's what was important for them.
Yeah, so they can prepare for that very special situation where when time is called, you finish your current turn and then we're playing 5 more turns.
Now, we have got a very special surprise for when that does happen.
Yeah.
But you'll all see it.
Yeah.
You may have already seen it, but you'll see it again. Now, I can see an Honest there in Pierro's hand.
The ceasefire has already been in the deck. There we go, we are in time now. And here you have our very special guest on the table, Cube Rebo.
It's Cube Rebo.
Yeah, not to be confused with Kuribo, but it's a little die that tells us 6 more turns. We finish this turn and then 5 more. We're going to count down for you guys, so no confusion there.
It was going right from the start as well, so it's kind of going to feel like whoever can do the first damage is going to win this. Gains 2 Honest and an Imperial Iron Wall is actually a pretty good hand for what we want to do right now. Now, what's Hong have here? He has a Mystical Space Typhoon, which is the answer to both Fiendish Chains and an Imperial Iron Wall. Unfortunately, he doesn't have 3 Mystical Space Typhoons. Apoleo, Elder, Ambush, and Mind Crush. He now has, well, as you can already see, the ability to start making his rituals and prepare.
Right, and there we go. He's again going for that big combo.
And because of the way that the fusion monsters work, if he was to try and play Fiendish Chain on one of them, he could detach, send it back to the extra deck, bring out 2 guys, and Fiendish Chain is doing nothing. And also, in the same vein, I believe it doesn't. The Ritual Beast monsters don't really have to have an effect to be banished for the summon. Now he's gone and got himself an ambush. Oh, sorry, Steeds.
Steeds, yeah.
I always mix the 2 up because ambush sounds like it would destroy monsters.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
But they are very sportsman-like ritual beasts, so they don't destroy when they ambush someone.
No. They just kind of
Say
stand
hi.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say hi.
We're
How you doing?
ambushing you. It's just a warning. Please don't be alarmed.
All right.
3 Fiendish Chains.
Wow.
2 Honest, 3 Fiendish Chains, and an Imperial Iron Wall.
Wow.
What more would you want?
You can stall until there's no tomorrow. Wow.
this hand though. Oh wow.
This is. He must feel like his deck is trolling him
A
here.
little bit, but 2 Honest isn't too bad.
Yeah, but you don't want to play him in attack position. And do you want to
You've got
set
2
him?
Honests. Play an attack. Discard an Honest. You're stopping any. Oh well. Yeah, because it's Ulti Apoleo is just unaffected by effects. It doesn't stop effects. Oh, he's setting it. Oh.
Such a disappointment. And there we have 3 copies of Fiendish Chain and an Imperial Iron Wall. Would be a much better hand in a different card game. Let's start with P. All right, and Hong's got, like you said, the 1 Mystical Space Typhoon that could be important. And the Mind Crush is not going to do much here.
So, I believe an end phase ambush is going to happen. Oh, Steeds and an ambush. He's resolving both. Interesting.
Well, he can still only destroy 1 card. So he's getting rid of the Honest. Now he's got 3 attackers to deal damage.
Which is exactly the same amount of Fiendish Chains which are on the field.
Yeah, he's got 3 answers. And there you can see we're now 4 more turns. So this turn and then 3 additional turns until this match is going to be concluded.
Now, Pierro has already lost 1,600 life points there. I'm not quite sure whether that's just not been reset. I can't see where he got attacked. Seeing as this is the first turn that Hong can actually attack. Now it's just checking there. It is actually Ritual Beast card for Apoleo. And here's the Ulti Apoleo, which is unaffected by cards until after the end of the damage step. Now, here comes the first of many.
Fiendish Chains.
And he's probably going to bounce it, which he can do.
There's the Imperial Iron Wall.
Okay. That doesn't really matter because it just says cards cannot be banished, not that they can't be special summoned from the banish zone. And there's the MST. Mystical Space Typhoon.
On the Iron Wall.
Yes.
Because
Iron
you
Wall
don't mind
shuts
the
down.
Fiendish Chain, yeah.
Yes. Okay, so just to keep note,
Back to square
Apoleo
one.
and Elder have been special summoned.
All right.
And what's there? Has he got in his hand? He's got another Ritual Beast Elder. And out comes Apoleo. And there goes another Fiendish Chain. And he can't actually now special summon again. because he's actually already special summoned both the ritual beasts that are currently out of play.
So this is very good for Hong.
Yes. Now he can declare to activate the effect of Ulticana Hook, but I can probably tell you what's going to happen.
Please do.
He's going to activate Fiendish Chain.
How can you tell, man?
I don't know.
He is good at this
I must
game.
be psychic.
Yeah.
Wait, like all of these monsters are.
And keep in mind, we are in the timeout, so, well,
Any damage.
any damage, yeah,
Yeah,
can
any
make
damage is going to make it.
all the difference. And we're still not 100% sure if there was an attack, because Pierrot is on supposedly on 6,400. Just imagine you're setting the Mind Crush, and you're just blindly calling Fiendish Chain, and the opponent discards 3 cards.
Oh, that would be mean.
That would have been
Mind
the play of the
Crush.
weekend. Yeah. All right. So Hong also sets the Mirror Force. Hong is in such a strong position.
And what is the other card?
It's a
It's a
spell
spell
card.
card. And does it help is the question.
So, and Pierrot, his facial expression is saying, no, not so much.
It looks like a Mystical Space Typhoon, but it's a gold rare card, so I can't really tell.
It's a twister.
It's a twister, so essentially, yeah.
Oh, yeah, exactly. It's almost as mystical.
Which only destroys face-up cards, if I remember correctly. Oh,
It doesn't have a card text.
okay. So Apoleo and Elder can be special summoned this turn. So in the end phase, he's done that. Sent the Canahawk back.
Also, you have to pay 500 life points for Twister, which is not what you want to do when you're in the timeout.
No, not at all.
So Pierrot is really not drawing into the cards he needs. Whereas Hong...
He has been beaten by his own deck. I think it's safe to say.
Yeah. Hong, on the other hand, his deck is definitely doing what it was supposed to do. By the way, both guys are on 8,000 life points. So this was a little...
Yeah, it was just a little bit of lag there.
yeah, what
Okay.
remained from the last round with time change. And as you can see, because the player himself, Hong, is asking how many turns do we have left? Well, you should just look on his right-hand side where Cube Rebo is telling you 2 more turns. This one and one after that. Pierrot's going to have the last turn. But how is he going to do any damage with Honest?
But he's not.
Maybe
Because
he's,
it's not in his hand.
yeah. Maybe he's hoping that his opponent is going to attack into Honest.
Yeah. I can see why he set Honest.
Yeah, you
Because
don't, you don't want
it's
to
got 1900 defense.
you don't want to be completely exposed with nothing.
Yeah, but if you put it into attack mode, you can still Honest your Honest. Because Honest is light.
Yeah,
And Honest works on Honest.
all of that is
Honest.
correct. And the last card in Hong's hand is the Ritual Beast Tamer Nguyen.
It's a shame he had to play both of them. Honest is one of my favorite cards. Because it's like your opponent's about to win, and you go, ha, ruined your day.
Yeah, that does work indeed. But doesn't Hong have something to work around that? Basically, he's got the Mind Crush.
Yeah, he has Mind Crush.
So if you play Honest and face up, attack, and you're like, go, it's your turn, and I had a Mind Crush sitting there face down, I would call Honest.
Yeah.
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 It's a very obvious what's coming. And you don't mind losing a card in your hand for not losing the game.
Okay, so out goes the Ulti Apoleo.
Is any of these Fiendish chains still active?
Not anymore,
All right.
because Ritual Beasts.
Okay. Well, very convincing point you made there.
Yes. So Apoleo has removed a card, making everything plus 500. And he is going to bring it out again, although he's thinking about that face down card and he really doesn't want it to hurt him.
Yeah. In the good old days, the worst thing that could have happened to you was an man-eater bug.
Yeah. Wow.
Those days are over.
Man-eater bug or vindictive old magician.
Yeah.
Okay, he needs to do just a little bit of damage just to make sure it doesn't carry on. They really don't want to draw, which is something that can happen.
Yeah, because they already drew once.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's not quite the same as losing a game or a match, but it doesn't help. It doesn't get you anywhere, really. And with 2 draws, you still have to win all your remaining rounds. And a big topic on the chat is the Twister.
Yes.
Why would you... He actually sided into Twister against Ritual Beasts.
Because of Macrocosmos and Dimensional Fissure.
So you're willing to pay 500 life points, even when it's timeouts?
Not in time.
Well,
That would be silly.
Well, but it was kind of obvious that time would be called. They even asked, when they were siding, they were asked how much time is left in the round.
Now, I believe that it's a draw.
Yeah, if nothing happens, yeah. But did Hong he attacked over Honest, and that concluded the turn, is that correct?
Yep, he actually didn't put the Cannon Hook in attack. He put it in defense when he summoned it, so he wasn't able to attack with it.
It's not that it was affected by the finish chain. Are you sure?
No, because it bounced out and then came back in.
Okay, so...
Fiendish Chain is currently
Is that
doing
saying
nothing.
that Hong was just giving away the victory?
It kind of feels that way.
Pierrot found a pot of duality.
Which doesn't really help him in this situation. But let's see what he gets.
So, it looks...
Oh, and there's the ceasefire that he so sorely needed on the last turn.
on his last turn. Wow, that really hurts.
I wonder if he realizes it is the last turn. And
But
Mind Crush on ceasefire.
then again, there's the Mind Crush. But does... yeah, he's got a card in hand, the Ritual Beast Tamer win. So...
Which I believe he searched with Cannon Hook.
But I'm not 100% convinced everything was played in the correct way here.
I'm not 100% convinced that this is the last turn.
Well...
Cube Rebo said it was.
Cube Rebo said it was.
But they are playing as if it's not.
So is it...
Oh, Cube Rebo.
Interesting.
Yes.
Because
Cube Rebo
this-
has gone. What happened to Cube Rebo?
Yeah, somebody killed the cube. And the whole idea of this cube was we wanted to be 100% sure when the last turn would happen. But that plan really didn't work out. We got to talk to our judges again. Counting down from 6 to 0 is actually not what we had intended.
No.
All right. Anyway, Hong has the last turn, attacks, does some damage.
And wins.
And, well, that is it for round 6, in fact.
Light Imprisoning Mirror was also sided in. That would have been painful.
Yeah.
That would have been really painful. I'm happy to see Ritual Beast finally doing well, because we've not had a Ritual Beast that's done well on stream before at all.
Yes, yes. That's a first. And in a very interesting fashion, not exactly what we predicted, to be honest, the way that it went down. Although we saw what they can do in the first game.
Yes. Well, we technically saw what they could do in the second game. Well, the third game as well. So, yeah, it was really quite good. And they make a very good comeback,
but
generally.
Like you said, it seems very stressful for you to look through all those moves.
Yes. Constant.
Doing that over the course of 8 rounds on one day, I can see how this is not the deck for everyone.
And that's one of the reasons why we don't see it as much.
Yeah. But you are saying it is absolutely on par with the Tier 1 decks?
Yes, definitely.
And is it going to get any, even better?
I believe that there are cards coming out in the next set that will support them.
All right. So, well, that's some news for you guys. And was there anything in the game where you were like, "This, I'm not sure about this play," apart from the Honest that should have been played?
No, it didn't have to be played in attack mode. I mean, it was going to get... Steeds was going to happen anyway. So it didn't really matter how he did it.
But then on the other hand, it's not always how you play your cards. It's always how you're building your deck. Especially during the side decking, when you know that you're going to time. I don't think that Twister is what I would recommend.
Probably not. I wouldn't want to pay life points during time, especially when you're playing a deck that is able to fill the field, and then you have to get rid of all the monsters that are on the field. Imperial Iron Wall would have been a fantastic thing immediately, but it didn't really get any use at all.
Not really, no. And like you said, you can still special summon from the banished zone, so it's
it's kind of useless at that point.
Yeah.
You can still special summon because you've already got the ritual out.
Yeah,
there's no point.
It's all about the timing in this game, especially in this round. And, well, that's it. Hong, Thao, and Nguyen doing well with Ritual Beast.
Yes.
And, well, but we see that Shadol is also, Tellarknights, excuse me, is also still very much on top of the field.
Yes, Tellarknights is still incredibly good.
Yeah, and as we saw on the deck breakdown prior to this round, Necros is not as dominant as many made it out to be. Again, a friendly reminder, you can check out the written coverage where you can check out the deck breakdown as well as duelist profiles and deck tags. In between rounds, like now when we're going to take a break, as you heard, the time was called in this round, so it's not going to be as long till we are going to be back.
There will be a very, very short break.
Yeah, although you are going to have a little bit of a longer break.
I'm going to have a break.
And I hope you're looking forward to that.
Oh, well, it's going to be nice.
And we're going to bring on a special guest in the round 7 match, so you can look forward to that. And that's it for now from round 6. We're signing off, and we're going to be back as soon as we got our players for round 7 in. We're back at YCS Bochum, and I have been promoted to card holder. Here I got a couple of good cards that Rob is going to talk about to run us through the popular decks this weekend, so you know what to expect on the stream. And well, also if you're playing in your local hobby league or something, or at a regional to qualify for the European Championship. So pick a card, Rob.
Oh, let's start with this.
All right, this is the elephant in the room, I guess. Necros of Bryonek. What's so good about this card?
Well, it lets you search out pretty much. I believe